Alright, Mark Anthony said something really stupid. And the only reason why I'm making this video is because, well, my Marxism videos tend to go over really well, so why not? He made the assumption that under communism, everyone is poor besides the leaders. Communism doesn't work that way. There are two problems with that situation. One, poverty cannot exist in a post-capitalist society. Period. The only way for somebody to be poor is to have less than somebody else. If everybody has the same, poverty cannot exist. You might argue that everybody has just generally less than they would under capitalism, but that is ridiculous in and of itself, because how is that even possible? How is it possible, given the distribution of wealth, for everybody to have less than they do now? That makes no sense at all. At most, you can say the bourgeois have less, and that's good, because they're the assholes that kept it all from you to begin with. They're the thieves and the murderers. Why the fuck not? And it's missing the point of communism entirely. You don't earn currency. You don't earn wealth to maintain the things that you like and the things that you need. You simply participate in society and work toward bettering it. That's it. You know, you look at capitalism because you look at everything like capitalism because that's what you were raised with. You were raised with the idea that you have to go to work to earn coins or cash or electronic butt coins or whatever, and then you come home and you crunch the numbers of what you can afford with these things and try to juggle the demands of food, gas, clothes, things you might want but don't really need, housing, and things like that. You're trying to allocate resources based off the limited fiat currency you were bestowed upon by the whim of your employer. Communism doesn't work like that. There is no currency in that equation. Without the currency in the equation, you automatically are assumed to have the food, the clothes, the housing, etc. ad infinitum. So the only issue becomes, what are you willing to do to participate within society so that we can have the clothes and the housing and the gasoline and everything else like that? Everybody owns the means of production. Think about that for a minute. Moderators don't own the means of production. The bourgeois don't own the means of production. The 1% don't own the means of production. Everybody owns the means of production. So if everybody owns the means of production, everybody is getting the same out of it. All that it can produce, all that it's capable of, is everybody's to have. Nobody has less than, and certainly nobody can have less than they do right now. And this scare tactic that somehow we're all going to be poor under communism is fucking stupid. It was just a bunch of hypnotic propaganda spouted by the ultra-right in the McCarthy era, and the fact that people still believe it only proves how retarded they really are. And what aggravates me more so is the fact that they know communism isn't about wealth. They know communism isn't about currency. It isn't about trade. Yet they're still ascribing it to these principles. They're still treating it as though it were capitalism, and it's not. So why are you going to hold it up to the standard of capitalism? And how are you going to tell me that communism is anti-choice when you don't have any fucking choices to begin with? You know, Mark Anthony was the one that said, oh, this is why we have a democratic system. I got news for you. You don't have a democracy. If you live in America, you have a republic, a bureaucratic republic. And that has barely anything to do with you at all. But the most you have is you vote for your governors and mayors and shit, and then they do whatever the fuck they want to. Ooh, how special of you. You get to vote in your dictator. And whereas communism is about the participation of people. If you truly believed in democracy, you'd be a communist. You wouldn't settle for the second-hand, backwash, watered-down version of democracy. You wouldn't settle for, oh, sometimes we get to vote in a law, but not really, because it's going to be the lobbyists that bribe our republic to do what they want to do, and they ain't going to fucking listen to us. So That's why you can't support capitalism. Because capitalism is a conflict of interests of the democratic process and the electoral college as a whole. If you are a politician, and you can either listen to the whiny brats that are saying, we want this or we want that, whether it's for good or for ill, or you can listen to the guy that can offer you $10 million in lobbying. Well, not lobbying, yeah, I guess lobbying. I want to just say bribery, but politicians aren't going to call it bribery, because bribery is illegal, but they fucking do it anyway. And, so they just campaign funds, that's the word I'm going for. Let's say somebody offers you $10 million in campaign funds. Who are you going to pick? It's not a fucking hard choice. So, that's why they own all the means of production, and normal people do not. So if you truly believe in the will of the people, you'd stop supporting capitalism. Because not only would it defang the capitalists, and he would no longer be able to campaign fund the politicians that vote however the fuck they want to anyway, but without that capitalist enterprise in the way, then you could actually work toward the betterment of your society and get all the things you could have anyway, and more so, because you don't have to worry about juggling the demands of gasoline and clothes and housing and etc. So there is literally no reason not to be a communist other than your own insecurities, fear, and ignorance. That's why more people are not communists. Not because there's anything wrong with communism, but because there's something wrong with them. There is something wrong with them where they were raised to believe something that isn't true, which happens all the fucking time. How many lies in your lifetime are you going to accept? Do you still believe in Santa Claus? Do you still believe that God is gonna punish you? Do you still believe that, I don't know, the sky is green and the fucking dogs can talk? Where does it end with you? And all these fantasies, and what does it amount to? You're not getting shit out of it. What are you getting out of defending capitalism? Nothing. And all that's happening is you're getting more and more screwed over. So, that's really all I have to say here. You have to ask yourself, if you're so worried about communism controlling every facet of your life, ask yourself how the fuck they would go about it. If everyone controls the land, everyone controls the resources, there is nobody above you, then how can somebody command you? There has to be somebody below you in order to be commanded. It defies all logistics. And then the only issue becomes, oh, well, communism never worked like that in process because I listened to fucking school that treated me like shit, or I read the Black Book of Communism even though the FBI admitted to shooting JFK and Martin Luther King and everything fucking else like that. Stop believing lies. Stop going to church. Stop listening to your parents. Smoke crack. Worship Satan. I'm done here.